Hi and welcome back to my channel. My name is Gian, aka Beauty Outspoken, and today I have a really exciting video for you guys. I'm going to be doing a Makeup Revolution haul slash swatch video. I've kind of discovered this brand on YouTube, especially from my favorite YouTuber, Emily Noel, and I've just kind of started to look and search for their videos, specifically searching for videos and swatches of women of my skin tone. And I hardly saw that. If they did purchase some stuff from Makeup Revolution, it's either it was a really small haul and so many things weren't concerning what I was into, or it was that they just bought a few things and they didn't see the need to swatch them. So what I'm going to do is kind of help out anybody who is of my skin tone and just in general who wants to purchase some stuff from Makeup Revolution and really want to see swatches and hear about the quality compared to some, see if it really makes sense to go ahead and purchase the products. Because the Makeup Revolution US site was very limited, I went ahead and ordered from the official site from the UK, so I did have to pay extra shipping and also some extra customs charges because I live in Trinidad and Tobago. I had to pay custom charges from the UK to the US and then custom charges from the US to my country in Trinidad. So it is a bit pricey for somebody, especially in Trinidad, looking to branch out into Makeup Revolution. So I hope that my video is helpful to you guys in choosing what will really suit you and what you like. If it is helpful, of course, and I really hope that it is, please subscribe and join my little YouTube family. Like the video, it helps out a lot. And let's jump into the makeup swatches and review. And just before I start, I have a lot of stuff here. Well, not a lot, but a good bit of stuff, and it really focuses on the eyeshadows, but I do have like some sponges and a setting spray and all that to show you guys. So first I'm going to start off with the things that I think people are really interested in when they first click this video, and that is the eyeshadow palettes. I have 6 eyeshadow palettes to show you guys, and the first one I'm going to show you is this one, and this is the Favours the Brave palette, and it's a really nice palette. I think this is a collaboration with Makeup Revolution and a beauty blogger in the UK. I'm not too sure on the name, but I'm going to leave everything in the description box for you guys to go and check out. So I'm actually standing up just to give you guys a much better view of this palette, but this is the Favours the Brave palette, and it has a really nice mixture of neutrals, but some nice mauve tones, some purples, some greens, and some blues. And I will go out on a limb and say that if you really want to try the eyeshadows, this may be a good place to start, just because it has a really nice comprehensive little palette that you can kind of take and use everywhere, whether it's your day looks, your night looks, your party looks, your natural looks, etc. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the first row of swatches, and the first row for me is this one right down here. So this is the first row of swatches. I hope that you guys can see them very clearly, but this is the first row, and it has a lot of neutral shades in here, but they do have some pops of blue, and there are some greens right low down here. I'm going to swatch the other row, of course, for you guys. And now I'm going to be showing you guys the second row of the Favours the Brave palette, which is my favorite row. I think that the purple hues on my skin tone looks really pretty, and this row really made the whole palette worth it for me. The blues and stuff I'm not too sure about in the first side of the palette, but the purples are definitely up my alley, and I really love this palette for that. It is an awesome palette, and I do love the shades. I would say that there are some hit and misses in the palette, and I found that the darker shades or the more gold tone shades were really beautiful on the skin. The navies and some of the darker greens were really, really beautiful on the skin, and some of the lighter shimmers. But the creamy, kind of paler white shades, sort of the vanilla shades that were more matte, were really a pain to work with at times. And I really had to make sure that I had a base that was very sticky so that the shadows would adhere to my skin. But overall, I think the palette is a really good buy, and I would definitely recommend the Favours the Brave palette. And can we talk about the packaging? I think this is a really pretty package from Makeup Revolution. It's gold, it's just really unique compared to any of their other packaging. And I think that's because they did collaborate with a YouTuber, so she had kind of had her input to make it go away from what you're going to see, which is the typical black packaging that you really can't identify which palette is which if you just look at them from the outside. So the next set of palettes I'm going to be talking about is the chocolate line that I think is to mimic the Too Faced chocolate bar series. Of course, these don't smell like chocolate or anything like that, but I think that the packaging looks a lot more like an actual chocolate bar versus the Too Faced one. It's really cute for the price, and I have Chocolate Vice, which they say is a dupe for the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette, and I have Dead by Chocolate, which is not necessarily a dupe for anything in my opinion, but I guess they kind of are trying to go beyond that. They're not going to just wait for Too Faced to make a palette and answer back with shades similar. They're really just trying to expand their series and their makeup line. So I mean, kudos to Make a Revolution for the packaging, and even though they kind of stole the chocolate bar idea, it's a really nice drugstore alternative if you really can't afford the expensive Too Faced palettes. So first I'm going to swatch the Chocolate Vice for you guys, and again, this is the palette that they say is the dupe for the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. I have the Sweet Peach palette. I'm not sure if I should do a comparison video because I have seen quite a few people compare them, but if you guys do want that, put that in the comment section and of course I will deliver. It looks like this. It's just some really pretty shades, some peaches, and this is a really nice dark brown. Is it dark brown or dark black color? A really nice chocolate color. This is one of my favorite colors right here. These are the swatches of the Chocolate Vice palette from Makeup Revolution, and these swatches are so beautiful in my opinion. I kind of got overexcited on some of the shimmer shades and dug my fingers into them, and trust me, I got a lot of pigment on my hands. Some of it is looking a bit cracky. I don't know if you guys can see that, but so much pigment came out of the eyeshadows when I got excited to dig my hands into them. And you guys are probably saying you recommend all of these, but I really love this palette. And I'm going to swatch the other one called That by Chocolate, but I will give a little bit of a hint. Chocolate Vice is my favorite chocolate palette from the Makeup Revolution chocolate line. Now I'm going to show you guys a close-up of the Dead by Chocolate, and it's a really pretty palette. It's more a cool tone neutral palette. There are like a little purple color in the back there. Oops, that dropped. There's a black. There are some creamy shades that you can definitely use in your transition. There are two light shades that you can use, of course, in your inner corner and your highlights. There is this green shade, so let's jump into these swatches of this. And here are the swatches of the Dead by Chocolate palette. This is just a really pretty cool tone neutral palette. It's not my favorite just because I feel like if I need to pull somewhat of a warm transition shade to make it work for my skin tone, but if you're really into cool neutral shades, I think this will be the palette for you. Let's just talk about the shimmer shades and how freaking amazing and creamy and pigmented they are. I mean, Makeup Revolution has a really nice formula going with those soft creamy shimmer shades. And I don't know if I mentioned to you guys, I don't think so, but these palettes do come with 16 eyeshadow shades, which is similar to that of the Too Faced Sweet Peach, but I think what they did is they still have the same orientation as the previous Too Faced Chocolate Bar palettes that gave a bigger amount of product for the more transition light shimmery shades. And the next palette I'm going to be talking about is one of the Revolution palettes, and this is one of their earlier palettes. I think like some of the first palettes that they came out before they branched into the chocolate lines and all of that. And I have the shade Iconic Dreams, and I got this on sale, so I'm not sure if this one is still available for purchase, but it's a really nice kind of neutral palette that reminds me of the CoverGirl, I think it's the Goldens, the new palette that they have with the 12 eyeshadows. It looks very similar to this, and the colors are very similar. This palette, I would say, is the least performing palette out of all the eyeshadows that I purchased. I don't think it's particularly amazing, but again, this is the more affordable side of the Makeup Revolution eyeshadow palettes, so I guess I shouldn't expect much, but at the same time, based on the creaminess of the other shades, I thought that they would have had a similar pigmentation, just feel on the eyes, but these are not that good. But I mean, let's just jump quickly into the swatches. So these are the close-up swatches of the Iconic Dreams palette, and as you can see, again, they have some really nice greens and purples and some creamy kind of vanilla shades in this palette. I must just quickly note that for me, these palettes on my deeper skin tone, I feel like if they don't really have nice transition shades, so I do have to pull transition shades from another palette. But if you are lighter than me and you have a bit of a more cooler undertone, I think you would find this a really comprehensive palette. And again, it's affordable, so if you want to try this one, I would tell you go right ahead for the price. But I will say though that the CoverGirl Goldens is so beautiful compared to this one in terms of the pigmentation and the quality. It is a bit more pricey, but I would probably tell you go to the Goldens versus this one. But I mean, if you don't have a lot of money and you want to try this one, then I see why not. Let's get into some color. I haven't really been showing you guys eyeshadows with a lot of color, like really bright. So I did go ahead and purchase the Welcome to Pleasuredome palette. And again, the outside looks like any other plain Makeup Revolution packaging. It's just black, but again with the name and everything. But this one has some really nice little pops of colors in there that I think is really fun if you really want to do a pop of color on the eyes. But it still of course has the neutral shades to kind of anchor this palette. So this, compared to the one I swatched for you previously, is, I would say, a comprehensive palette, because you do get the neutrals but you also get the bright fun shades that kind of just make you stand out sometimes, and just sometimes you feel for that brightness, you know what I mean? So let me just swatch this for you guys. I'm gonna give you just a quick close-up of this palette. As you can see, it's just really pretty. And doesn't these small circles look exactly like the sleek palettes? But I digress. And look how beautiful these shades on the Welcome to Pleasuredome palette has swatched. I would say that the shimmers are creamy but not as soft as the ones on the chocolate palettes. But again, it reminds me somewhat of the Urban Decay kind of formula versus the Lorac formula that I talked about on the previous chocolate bar palettes. It's just a really beautiful palette. I must share that I did all of the shimmer shades and some of the brighter colors on the left hand side of my hand. And on my right hand side, I just went ahead and swatched the 6 mattes. I would say that this palette is missing a really nice deep chocolate brown, or even a warmer brown I think would be really nice as a transition. They have 2 very dark black shades that I think look very duplicated. I mean, one just looks a smidge more grey than the other, but they're not necessarily needed in the same palette. So I would just skip out that grey color, put in a really nice chocolate brown and give me the black. And this would be the perfect palette for me if I really want to be fun and do some bright shades. And last but certainly not least, with the eyeshadow palettes from Makeup Revolution, is the New-trals, which is New-trals palette. I mean, Emily Noel talks about this, all the YouTubers talk about this. First they said that this was the dupe for the Sweet Peach. I don't know, I think this palette is one of my favorites from Makeup Revolution. And again, this packaging is very similar, but this one has a more matte feel to it. And the back, of course, is the same kind of plasticky. I mean, it's all plastic, but a kind of shiny feel as some of the other palettes. And you wouldn't know it's that until you look in the back and see New-trals versus New-trals, but again, I talked about that previously. These are the swatches of the New-trals versus New-trals palette, and aren't they freaking beautiful? This palette really reminds me of a high-end palette. The shimmer shades are beautiful, the matte shades are creamy and pigmented. The palette just feels really comprehensive and well thought out. And kudos to Makeup Revolution for producing this palette. This is definitely one of the favorites on YouTube, and I can definitely tell you guys that it is also one of my favorites, if not my favorite. I said earlier that if you wanted a comprehensive eye look, to go ahead and get the Fortune Favours the Brave. But if you're a warm tone gal that likes her oranges and her cranberries and her purples, just like me, this is all you're gonna need, my lady. It's beautiful. I really love this palette. I have a really exciting bridge just to show you guys, and that is their highlighter palette. I mean, look how... And if you heard any YouTubers talk about the Golden Lights shade that looks very similar to NARS Albatross, this is in this palette, as well as Peach Lights and I think Pink Lights. And let me just go ahead and swatch this for you guys. I mean, oh my freaking god, just absolutely beautiful and soft and pigmented, and makes you look like a disco ball and makes space being able to see you. I mean, this is just the best palette. I'm just gonna go ahead and just blend this out. And I don't know if you can see that. I mean, girl, this is the shit. I mean, seriously, this is a freaking amazing palette that I would definitely recommend to anybody getting into highlighters. But I must say that I don't use the Pink Light shade very much because it's a bit cool tone for my skin. And I would probably just go ahead and tell you, get this nice Golden Light shade in the single form. It's cheaper, and you're definitely going to be using this one more than the others. And because I like the Golden Light shade so much, I went ahead and got the Ultra Strobe Balm. And it's the exact shade of the Golden Lights, but in cream form. And It's just really pretty. This is the Ultra Strobe Balm right next to the Golden Light shade, and as you can see, they are the exact same. This looks really pretty when you layer it with the Golden Lights right on top. It makes you look so beautiful and highlighted, and people just always give me compliments when I wear these two together. Cheap products to show you guys, and these are the, I think they call these the Baked Bronzers. That look very similar to the Too Faced blushes, and I mean, I think that Makeup Revolution really has an affinity with Too Faced because I mean the packaging is so similar. But I'm gonna go ahead and open it for you guys. The first one I have here is Peachy Keen, and all the shades together look like this. The second shade I have for you is Hot Summer of Love, and isn't this beautiful? And all the shades swatched together, Hot Summer of Love looks like this. And it's reading a bit pinky in the camera, but it is a really nice copper color. My lighting is a bit off today, but look how pretty those look on the skin. I mean, can you imagine these on the face? This one is a bit unconventional, but I am going to be talking about their setting spray. And they call this the Pro Fix Oil Control Fixing Spray. And I would say that this product is actually pretty good, but I would not put it in the category of the Winnie All Nighter, my Scandinavia Bridal, my Ben Nye spray. I would not put it in the category of that, but I would put it in the category of my L'Oreal and my Maybelline Missing Sprays. I think that it's a really nice spray. It doesn't have the best smell, but I don't think it has a bad smell either. It's just there. And I would say that, you know, if you really want to try it, you can go ahead and get it. But I mean, paying all the customs and shipping and all of that for this product, it's not that worth it for oily skin. But again, it's kind of average. I put it in the average oil control spray category. Some sponges to show you guys. I have the 3 sponges from Makeup Revolution, and I bought them in a set. It's called the hard sponge, this is called the soft sponge, and this is just the regular pro blending sponge. And out of all of them, my favorite is the pink one, but this thing runs. Like, when I first got this, it was a beautiful bright pink, and now it's just like a pale sad pink. As soon as I just let water touch this, I didn't even put soap to it, it just ran pink. It was really freaking annoying. And these are good, but I wouldn't put them in the category of my Real Techniques blending sponges. But I do like the shape of them. Just gonna give you a close-up on that. It has a nice hard edge, and the yellow and the black sponge have that similar thing. These, I am really happy to announce that they do not run, but it would be really sad to see black dye just running in your sink. I mean, I don't know, that's just kind of morbid to me. But these are nice because I would say that they really do get nice and large and soft and squishy. So if you really want to try this sponge, I would definitely put you, if you want to try this sponge, I would definitely put you onto them. But again, it's not as good as my Real Techniques blending sponge, and of course, not even close to the Beauty Blender. And my last purchase to show you guys is the Viper Mascara, and this is my jam. The formula is nice and wet. And I'm just giving you guys a close-up on the brush. As you can see, it gets really fat at the top, and it really just makes my lashes look nice and volumized. It gives me a little bit of length, but I would call this mascara a bit more of a volumizing mascara. And that concludes my Makeup Revolution haul and swatch video. I hope that it was really helpful for you guys. And again, if it was helpful, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to join my little family. And thank you guys for watching. Bye.